The Bay Area's rock station, 107.7 The Bone.
Doc, you know the first thing I wanted to ask you about is your brother Dallas leaving the band, and I know you put a thing out, like a statement, but I think that a lot of people that I've talked to had no idea. The internet, even as fast as it works, still requires people to go to it to find the information, and I think that just hearing people say it from you, it has like a connotation to it that brings a sincerity that's hard to get from internet. You know, so can you tell us like kind of what happened? Because it was a big shock, big surprise, right?
Yeah, I mean, just in general, you know, Dallas and I got into a disagreement, you know, and got pretty heated, you know, and he decided he didn't want to do the tour, you know, the day we were supposed to leave, so it was pretty rough to deal with, you know, and you know, so we basically had to kind of forge ahead, you know, and it was difficult, you know, to actually kind of comprehend doing that, but you know, he made it pretty clear he didn't want to tour or even, you know, or maybe you know not do the band at all.
Because you've got a new album,
yeah,
that I definitely want to hear about.
What would you like to hear about it?
The title, I heard it was kind of like, in a manner speaking, politically motivated.
No, it wasn't.
Sort of.
It wasn't politically motivated.
It
was
seemed
more about, I guess, just being in touch with like the kind of natural part of the world, you know. And I guess in a way it's kind of, you know, I hate to think of like environmentalism and things like that, or you know, I think there's just things are definitely changing. There's a different consciousness, I think, that's going around everywhere, because it's, you know, the economy problems, and almost every single global war right now is over resources.
so 7-string guitars and...
Yeah, I mean, so that was like, I guess, one physical difference that kind of changed the atmosphere of what we were doing, inspiration-wise. We brought some things out of us that we wouldn't have done otherwise. And there was kind of like a deliberation period when we first started writing, figuring out where we wanted to go musically. Like we weren't sure. We know we didn't want to like do the things we did previously as far as a formula. You know, it had been a few years since we put out the album, so we felt like if we put out something similar, it would have seemed kind of dated in a sense. So it's
fine line between a formula and a signature sound.
Yeah, I mean, you know, now looking at the final product, I think all the elements of our signature sound are there, but we've added a whole lot more. You know, it's a lot more atmospheric, it's more progressive, you know, kind of more complex instrumentation, and you know, the songs are longer and more dynamic. You know, it's a lot more melody, but a lot of time on the vocals, you know, because vocals are really for normal people the thing they connect to most. You know, so we really wanted to spend a lot of time working on the melodies and strong hooks and make sure the lyrics made sense and everything. So it was a vastly different process than the album before, and I think you know, and the album is a lot different. But all our albums are different, I think.
Do you feel like there's kind of a subtle wave of technical as an influence over a lot of bands these days? Because I'm hearing an awful lot of people getting really into the gear and being really precise with a lot of things, and not that it's taking away from the feel or the warmth or the vibe of the music, but people seem to really be digging into kind of like a technical vibe.
Well, I think a lot of bands, I think it does take away from the feel and the vibe. I think right now, shred is in. Technical stuff is in. I think things have kind of come full circle. It's like when we started and Lamb of God started, it's like the biggest bands were like Disturbed, Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, you know, like very simplistic. You know, the nu metal era was all about just being simple and you know, kind of geared toward the lowest common denominator. And so when us and Lamb of God, Shadows Fall, and Killswitch came out, and we were playing our instruments, you know, and you know, in the same way that we were inspired by Metallica and Slayer and Megadeth,
and kind of in a way more simple, very like stripped down.
No, but those bands also were very musically adept, you know. So I think the new generation is growing up listening to, the bands we came out with, and then now it's also like the YouTube internet era where they can go and find all the, they can learn, like a million different ways how to learn to play guitar and drums, and you see bands like Chosen Totem and Dragon Force where there's like, the musicianship is incredible, and kids, I think, the bar just keeps getting raised as far as the musicianship and the playing level. But at the same time, I do feel that there's a little too much emphasis put on that. And the same thing happened in the 80s. Like in the 80s, everyone was shredding. You know, if you didn't have Eddie Van Halen in your band or a guy like that, then no one cared about your band. But it got so out of control that people got sick of solos. You know, and I think you might see something like that happen again, where, you know, when you have all these bands, you know, where they're on stage and it's just the most technical music and it sounds cool, but there's no emotion there. It's just, you know, it's just technically awe-inspiring. But you know, I think for at least for a band like us, we do a lot of stuff that's more groove-oriented, more vibe-oriented, more dynamics and melody. I did a blog to comment on I felt like out of balance, kind of like anti-God forbid sentiment that was going on a couple websites. It was like almost like people like, because we're like in the grand scheme of things, we're not that big of a band. So usually the biggest bands get the most hate.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Post something about Metallica.
Exactly, but
Right.
but they sell every arena in the world.
Right.
You know, the biggest band in the world. But we're not that big, so why are we getting? You know, so
Do you feel like the internet's giving people so much of a one-on-one that it makes it hard not to take that thing personally? Because there's always one.
Well, I understood where it came from. It came from the blogs that my brother was doing, because he was basically calling people out and saying things that were just incendiary, just to like rile people up, and so it made people hate the band because they hated the stuff he was saying, and it had and to me, you know, it just pissed me off because it didn't have anything to do with the music, you know.
Who are you liking now? Like in terms of musical influences or bands that are coming up now, or things that you're hearing and going, hey, that's good metal, I like where that's going.
There's a lot of good stuff out there right now. You know, the new Mastodon is genius. I think that's like probably the best album that came out this year. Really love Whitechapel, All Shall Perish. The new Lamb of God record's obviously amazing.
We'll let you go.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
107.7 The Bone.
Streaming online at 1077thebone.com.